Hello and welcome to Chasing the Finish podcast. That's right, Chasing the Finish, not Voices of the Vic. Little inside joke for you, Ben Aiton. I know you'll listen. Probably Mike Smart as well. Or anyone else that listens to the Watford podcast. My name is Mike Duffy, and as always, I am joined by Jake and Ben, or as a better known, Ramsey on the run, and Ben there and ran that. Jake, let's come to you first. How's things, mate? You all good?
Yeah, good. Bang on, mate. Bang on. Back to the reality now from obviously Greece. I haven't got a run in since I got back. Played football yesterday, so slowly get back to routine. I should be doing part run this weekend. If the wife to be lets me, we'll see.
Yes, very good. Yeah, I think I'm currently going to be struggling with the acclimatisation of having to run after being on holiday, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Ben, how's things for yourself?
Yeah, been a busy week. Not really nice and relaxed like you two. Yeah, I've been working and running and preparing for this 100k that's coming up on Saturday.
Oh yes, we will absolutely talk about that. And by the way, if you can hear a dog in the background, it's not mine. I don't know whose it is, but I wish it would shut the hell up. And it started right before I recorded. So, hopefully you can't hear it. But yeah, bit of a sort of, I don't know whether off-script is the right thing to say. I mean, for the first two episodes or not, we have actually got a bit of structure to the episodes. But this time, I thought we'd do it a little bit differently. Obviously, a couple of things have happened, between the three of us in the recent week. And I thought we'd just talk about that and sort of chill out a bit on today's episode, really. So, I mean, I think it's probably appropriate to talk about what you just mentioned there, Ben. Saturday, we're recording this, by the way, on the 26th of June. Again, not really sure why I said that, because I think I'm going to put it out straight after. So you'll be listening to this, hopefully, on the 26th of June, which is a Thursday. But in 3 days or 2 days' time, 2 days' time, you're going to be running the Ultra 100k marathon in the Peak District, is it?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Like, now that it's just a couple of days away, I mean, you've been running for over 130 days in a row now. I think I saw at the start of this week, you said it was taper week, so obviously you're stripping it back a little bit more. You're not doing as longer distances. You're really worried about picking up niggly injuries, etc., etc. How's everything upstairs? Are you feeling mentally ready? Are there certain elements of nerves there, or?
Yeah, I think there's always nerves there until, and there will be up until I'm on that start line. I think once go is said, I'll just be locked in and ready to go, and then it's back to basics. Doing what I've done every single day. Just get them legs moving, one foot in front of the other, and just try and tackle it the best way I can.
Well, you mentioned that, obviously, just doing, you're hoping to do what you've been doing for the last 130 odd days. But what has the training been? Because, obviously, if you're training for a half marathon or a marathon, you have certain, training programs in place. You might run 3 times a week. Some days your longer run, and you do all these, split runs, etc. But what is entailed, or what have you done for your training for this? Or have you not really done anything that different?
I think at the start I had all intentions of, following plans. I know I signed up to a couple different plans to try to see which one worked for me. I'm talking like 27 weeks out from this. I thought, right, I'm going to try and go for it. Try and add some strength training in. Obviously, because I think there's just over 2,000 feet of elevation gain. So obviously I knew it was going to be tough. I've tried to follow these plans. I think, look, we've all been in a situation where it doesn't go to plan, does it? I mean, you've got to have some commitment. I know, obviously, I'm running every day, but I do find it hard following these plans. I know they work for some people. For me personally, I don't know. they just didn't. I kind of had to fall back, kind of adapt to, kind of see where I'm at and how at best I can see myself doing it. Just as I say, doing the streak, running every day, building that base aerobic fitness. I thought that's where I can start. I think obviously bringing my heart rate down throughout runs, adding in a few speed sessions. Obviously, I'm not going to be running it at blistering pace or my park run pace at all. But I think it's more of a mental thing. I think I've tried to slow down a lot of runs, almost get to a point where I'm bored, just because I know that I'm going to have these long periods and these long stretches where I'm going to be bored out of my mind. It's such a mental, and this is why I think it's such an amazing. And I've been absolutely fixated with trail run, ultra running, just because I think it's just almost a different sport in itself.
Yeah.
It's, as I say, it's such a mental game. The nutrition side of it absolutely baffles me, but I'm intrigued and I'm interested. I'm watching things and I'm learning. I say I've got all my kind of most of my nutrition behind me. I've got, I'm trying to make a plan. Me and Brian have been going through, and we've got notes. Just loads of stuff trying to figure out. And I've got her on point. She knows where she's got to be at to provide me what I need. Yeah, it's a whole thing, and I don't think you can ever say you're prepared for it.
No,
it's one of them. Like I'll be out there, and it'll be adapt rather than thinking, oh, I should have bought this and I should have bought that. No, look, there's nothing I can change. Just get on with it.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago that you're not going to be doing your park run pace or anything like that. What is the plan, or is that peeking behind the curtain too much? Are we going to be waiting for your? Because we'll be able to track you as well, by the way. So we'll have to get a link and put that on socials. But have you got a plan in mind? Are you thinking, right, well, I want to finish it in this time, or I'm going to run this much, and then what's your plan?
Well, I think I said on episode 1, I had kind of had a plan in mind, but obviously things happen, and I don't want to almost tempt fate with it. To be honest with you, I've really struggled this week because although it's been my taper week, and in a way I've kind of enjoyed, I'm doing 2-3K, and it's kind of really dialed down. I feel like I'm almost walking. So mentally, that's tough. I'm doing around a 5-6 minute pace, and it's just like it's winding me up. But I
feel how I feel listening to you.
Mate.
Yeah. But it's just, it's crazy. But I have really been struggling also in the sense of, I think I mentioned like these almost phantom injuries. All week I've had pain above my knees. Legs feel absolutely zapped. And I'm stressing to Brian. I'm saying, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's going on with my body?
Probably just overthinking everything as well.
Maybe.
Probably just getting into your own head a little bit because it's around the corner.
As I say, been tapering. I started yesterday carb loading, which I thought was going to be fun.
Yeah.
We went shopping yesterday, and I went through and just bought loads and loads of food. And I've not enjoyed one bit of it. I'm literally struggling to eat, which is mad because I'm a big food lover. As well, and I'm not enjoying it. I had to force 3 slices of bread down my throat this morning. I don't know. I don't know if it's a mental thing, since I know I've got to eat. I almost don't want to. But it's I've really not enjoyed it. So
that'll be a mental thing. That will. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're probably just getting into your own head even more than you probably need to, and it's probably just going for your head. I need to do this, need to do that, and then you're overthinking everything.
I think that's what it is. I think, as I say, once I'm on that start line and I go, then I'm in it. Do you know what I mean? All that will go. I won't have to think about it as much. Obviously, I know I've got to think about my nutrition along the way, and make sure I'm having my gel every hour, and I'm making sure that I'm drinking because I know the weather's going to be extremely hot again. But it's, and I know the event there. I've seen, I follow pages of the Ultra Challenge, and they really look after their participants, and I have no worries of that side of it because I know they're really good. They've got, teams following you around and whatever, and the aid stations are stacked. They've got first aid. They've got people who tend to your feet. Obviously, there's tons of food. So I have no worries about that. I think it's just the build up. Your first one, hopefully it's the first of many. I
can vouch for that. I've seen the food menu for this, and I was showing Beck yesterday actually, and I said, "This is incredible." Like you got burger vans at bloody 75 kilometre mark, and it's like, where's this at run through events?
Yeah.
That would be perfect at Arrow Valley.
But they say these ultras are more of an eating event. Do you know what I mean? They say that because as long as your nutrition's right, your body keeps going. You go along as long, and yeah. So
sign me up for the next one then.
I was going to say maybe I'm in the wrong part of running.
Well, you never
I'm
know.
also a big fan of how you stopped yourself there, Ben. Don't worry, I saw you when you were saying that I love my food, and I think the words "as well" as yourself were going to come out, and your hands were even pointing in the direction of the screen. But don't worry.
No, because we are. We talk about
we are, yeah.
Food lovers. We love food, and it's a big thing that you struggle with your dieting, and we talked about it. I think last week. You want to get to a point where you can eat and run. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about that. You can go on a run and then eat what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone that's watching on YouTube will be laughing because yes, I did say those things. Also, I'm swigging a can of beer off camera here. However, I am technically still a little bit on holiday mode. I've got the rest of the week off, so it's a little treat. But just to wrap up on the 100k, it might come up again later in the episode. But I prepared a little slide for those that have watched or are watching on YouTube. You've reached your target. You've smashed through your target. Your target was £575 for the Charlie Ramsey Research Fund, and you're currently at £635. Yeah. I will put the link in. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen at the moment, but you must be buzzing to reach your target and then smash through it like that, because we all know what a good cause this is as well.
Of course, and it doesn't have to stop there. Do you know what I mean? Just because I hit my target, people, if you could, if you're watching and you want to donate, it would mean the absolute world to all of us. It's a charity that is close to all of us, especially Jake. And we are a family at the end of the day, us lads, and it would mean the absolute world. And that's why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I say, if you're watching, you can see I need to update it because it says currently £40 off his target, but it's reached it now. We'll put a link on the socials as well. So if you can spare any change, doesn't matter how much or how little, then please do. But Jake, we'll come to you next because you've been on holiday in Greece and you've done something that I've always wanted to do when I go on holiday. And I always have every intention of doing when I go on holiday, but never actually follow through and do it. And that is going out on a run. Now, Ben was just talking about there how he'll sort of have to acclimatise because of the weather's meant to be good on Saturday. What the bloody hell did that feel like over in Greece, getting out on a run?
You know what? When the night before we went out for food and drinks and whatnot, and I said to Tan, I was like, right, I'm gonna go for a run in the morning, doing it. And I was like, I'll meet you for breakfast, so I could set out a route, thinking, yeah, go across the beach. There'll be like paddles on the beach or paths. No paths, so it was all sand, so that was fun. Still didn't think of the route, and then went up 2 hills, which nearly killed me. And then the hill down was even worse. I felt like I was just going to tumble down it like a bear or something. But as soon as I was out there, it was just class.
Yeah.
Like, there was no one really out. The only people out were other runners, which was nice. But just going out there and doing it. As soon as I think I got to the 2.5k mark, I was blowing. It was so warm, and it was getting hotter, and the sun was coming through the cloud, over the mountains and the clouds, and I was just sweltering. So as soon as I got towards the end point and I saw Tan, I was like, thank God, get me a beer.
What time did you leave? Did you leave early doors to avoid the hot weather, or?
I I think it got out for about 7ish, 7:15, 7:30. Obviously mapped the route. I went further than my route said down some like road just before I went on the beach just to see if there was anything out there. But it started getting a bit fruity, so I came back, went onto the beach, round, and then up that horrible hill. But
yeah,
now I'm over the moon that I did it. But it was after it, I was like, I want to do it again. Didn't do it again. I was just
to be fair,
the first time.
No, we held you to that one run and you did it. So fair play to you. But that's what I mean. Having every intention of when you're on holiday going and doing one. And I've got to the point. In fact, I think it's still even on my routes on Strava. There's a 5K mapped out in Playa Blanca in Lanzarote because my grandmother owns a villa out there. So I'm like, yeah, well, when I go, take my running trainers, happy days. And I was just away for two nights, but I because we only had hand luggage, I couldn't fit the running trainers in as well as the other sort of going out trainers, and it was sweltering. I mean, I know it would have been hot over in Greece, but I think yesterday was 38. So I've got red raw shoulders to prove that as well. They are absolutely killing me. But has that maybe spurred you on? Obviously, you're yet to do a 10K event. Could we maybe see you doing one abroad in the not so distant future? You got a taste for it now, or is that it? You've done one, no more.
No, I did enjoy it, and obviously I've got the cruise. Well, I've got France next. I doubt I'll be able to get one in because obviously it's like a mini moon. So we're doing Disney Paris and doing Lyon. I might be able to do one before at the wedding venue, but I don't know what's around there. The next ones after that is.
What's that? The bit here.
You said you don't know what's around there. I said nap them.
I'm fully up for that though. I'm fully up for naps, and I want one of them like poxy medals. One and done then.
Sorted them out.
But I've looked on the cruise ship. We're going on for the honeymoon, and I said before, there's obviously a running track, so I'll definitely be getting up at some point, probably earlier than what I did for Greece because it's just going to be roast, even warmer. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see that. The running track.
It'll just be spiral.
On Strava, because you're moving, but you're going round, I want to know how that demographic's going to work.
I think you have to track it as an indoor run, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, it'd be like when you see people on Strava who have left it on when they're in the car and they've driven like 5 miles and done it in like 10 minutes. So.
Well, I also know someone who also was doing a streak and they were flying. And how it worked was, I think, over the time that they were flying, they would have missed a day. So what they did was they put it on treadmill mode and went to the back of the plane. And they did a mile on that.
What?
How?
Who the hell is this? We need to get him on the pod.
Well, he's like a proper pro trail runner.
I
don't think we'll get him on there, but yeah, but that's what he did. He would have missed the day. So he went to the back of the plane, put it on treadmill mode, ran back and forth at the back, and basically done his mile. So
I should have done that with my trips to the bar on Tuesday.
That is commitment.
Yeah.
But Mike, can we just say though, because obviously we spoke about me and Jake, we need to go back. We've got to go back.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. We do. Come on, the park. What was it? Vermuyden.
Vermuyden. Yeah. So we're starting with that nightmare, are we? Yeah.
No, let's get that.
On Saturday, none of us were doing a local park run. Jake was away. You were busy, I think. And then the other lads in the group chat, I don't think were free. So I thought, okay, well, it sounds a bit bad, but I'm almost getting a bit bored of my local ones. I've done the 3 in Lincoln multiple times. And if I've got something on and I need to get there and get back quick, then yeah, I'll do it. It's nice and easy to get to. But I thought, you know what? I've got a bit of time to kill. And I thought there's a V that I need to tick off for the parkrun alphabet. And it was 53 minutes away. Now, I drive more than that to do parkrun. when I come down with you guys. So I thought, happy days. So I always leave in ample time. I always say it drives these lads nuts, but I always say to get there at 8:30. First time of brief is usually around 2:45, 10:45. But I always say 8:30. That way we can park up and then walk to the start line or wait for the others, whatever. So I'm on the motorway and I've got the sat-nav on and it's telling me to come off at the junction in 0.8 of a mile. Now, the sat-nav, the time is going up and up and up, and I'm not moving, and I'm come to a bit of a standstill. So I'm like, okay, well, luckily I got a bit of time to kill. But then the time kept going up, and then it was saying 8:45. I thought, okay, not a problem, park up, still plenty of time. Then it was saying bang on 9 o'clock, and I was like, okay, that's not great. Then it was saying 9:15, and I was like, I have not driven all this way to get. And by the way, when I would have come off the motorway, the park run, was literally a few hundred yards down the road from the junction. So it's not as if I've got to come off and then drive another 20 minutes. It was literally right there. So I'm like, please tell me I've not driven all this way for no reason. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And we're moving ever so slowly. And I kid you not, I think it was 0.4 of a mile. Like I could almost see the junction. And it turned out what had happened was they'd closed the motorway going that way. I think I Googled it when I got back home. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. I think there was a collision and there was an oil spill from a lorry. So they closed the motorway. So I got off eventually. And I thought, do you know what? I always see people turn up late. And, I've since read that as long as you pass the park runner, it doesn't matter. And park runners, even I can say this, park runners are quite far behind. So I thought, okay. So I turned up, got there at 8:58 to the car park. And because I've never done it before, I didn't know where I was going. And there were no signs to say start line this way or anything. So I parked up, and by this time it was like 9:05. I had no idea where I was going. So I made the decision to just call it and drove all the way back home, and then reluctantly went out on a 5K round by me. Struggled a bit, but nothing, no more than I do usually. But yeah, it was quite disappointing.
Well, I think you up for the weekend, isn't it? Because you then the following day you had, was it the Redditch 10K?
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if you want to talk about it, because I know you struggled a lot during the weekend, and it kind of you wasn't in the best state of mind after that.
Yeah, no, it was weird, and I mean, I probably would have spoke about it to some degree on the episode, but I might as well talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. Something wasn't right. I mean, we're 3 episodes in, and I think already you can class it in this episode now as well. In all 3 episodes, we've talked about how the mental side of running is as big as the fitness side. Like, if you're not right mentally, you could be the fittest bloke in the world, but if something's not right up there, you're not going to run a good run. And something just wasn't right. I don't know what it was. I mean,
was it the course or
no? I don't think so, because we did Arrow Valley the weekend before, and obviously Jake, you'd done it with Chris and a few of the other lads when me and Ben couldn't make it that once, and you said that you'd do it again. So I was keen to do it before doing the Redditch 10K, because it was 3 laps of the park. So I thought, well, if I can get to the park run, I'll have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be working with on the day. So yeah, I don't know what it was. It turned up, sort of head wasn't right, but I thought, maybe I'll be all right once I get there. I've done enough runs now where a lot of them I don't tend to drag Beck with me anymore unless they're local. Because it must be boring as hell for the girls. Because I mean, I'm not like saying this in jest or anything when I say this now, Ben. But obviously with you, it's a little bit different. You know, you do these events and it's sort of, it could be over within sort of 30, 45 minutes where it's, you finish the line, you've done what you need to do after the race, and then you could be looking at going home if you was to go on your own sort of thing. Whereas with me, if Beck was to come and nobody else was there, she's standing in the same place, because at Redditch, there were no spectator points really. Obviously, it's a park, you can go around, do what you want. But the spectator point was at the start line, which was also the finish line. So she would have ultimately just been standing around for an hour and a half to see me 3 times. So I don't tend to drag her along to them anymore, unless obviously we've got a big one planned and we can sort of make a bit of an afternoon of it. So I've done enough where I turn up on my own. So I don't think it was down to that. You know, got there in, you know, easily long enough time, was able to do what I needed to do, a few stretches, sort of psych myself up for it, because everyone's got their own different technique, ain't they? You get to a run, you might listen to music the whole time, you might just want your own thoughts, you might just want to sort of just stand around and chill. Caught a bit of shade from the run-through director, the host. He saw my Watford top. He says, "Is that a Watford top?" And I nodded, and he says, "Do you know, if you stand there long enough, you'll change your manager." And I thought, mate, I just laugh now because the amount of times you hear stuff like that. But yeah, the race started, and recently I've been quite good at, especially when it's a big event like a park run or a 10K, I've been quite good at keeping going and not having to stop for quite some time. Whereas if I go out on a run by myself, I tend to find a stop a bit sooner because it's just me. So I stopped and I started running again, and my legs just felt like they had genuinely nothing left in them. Like my legs were just like zapped of all energy. And I did the classic old Mike Duffy thing of, I was 2 kilometres in, I was already very stop-start, and in my head I was like, I've got a half marathon in August and I can't even run 2 kilometres without being seriously uncomfortable. And then it's the snowball effect of, you're in your own head, you're telling yourself this, you're telling yourself that. And I got round, again, we spoke about this the other week about marshals being over enthusiastic, etc. And I don't know if anyone will listen, but if they do and you were there, then, you know, they would have seen thousands. So I doubt this has stuck out, but I genuinely apologise for how I might have come across, because there were people saying well done, and it was just got nothing back from me, because in my head I was on my second lap of 3 laps, and mentally I'd just checked out, and I was just like, that was genuinely the closest I have come to stopping my watch and then just walking off to the car park and going home. And I've never felt like that in a 10K before. No matter how hard it is, I've always just pushed through to the end. So it was a real tough mental battle to actually finish it. And like always, very negative. I thought this has got to be my longest time. Thankfully, it wasn't my longest 10K time, but it was 3 minutes slower than the previous one, which is quite a bit longer in running terms. But yeah, I crossed the finish line, grabbed my medal, grabbed a bottle of water, and just headed straight to the car. There were a few stalls which I wanted to grab a few bits from to bring back for Beck, but I just got in the car, drove back, rang Beck and told her that I was on the way home, and that was it. I was just gone. I don't mind saying this, I have never cried like that on the phone ever. I had to ring her back a few moments after I sort of gathered myself, because I said, it's not nice having to hear that. You know, I know, you know, there's a lot of stigma around men's mental health and whatnot, and men not talking out when they need to. But I said to Becky, it can't have been nice to hear your husband ringing you and being like that. I was just, I don't know what it was, but it had obviously got too much. And I think her asking how I did or what my time was, and I was just gone. So it was quite a sobering drive home. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to drive home that day. So there were a lot of thoughts going on in my head. I haven't actually told you boys this, but I was very, very close to cancelling my Solihull half marathon entry. But thankfully, I didn't. I am still doing the half marathon. But mental challenges, by far and away, the toughest I've ever had it. Like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It was horrible.
Well, I think that's important, how you did almost react to it, because parkrun, you were there next weekend. Do you know what I mean? Blistering heat. You as you say, you were close, but you didn't. And, and you have to take something from that. As I say, you were back at parkrun next week. Give it, albeit it was bloody hot. I think we all struggled that day. But no, I think credit to you, Mike, because you didn't give up, and with everything stacked against you, you've got up and gone again, haven't you?
Yeah, I think ultimately, as cliche as it is, and it is proper out the cliche handbook, it is how you come back from it. Because I could have very easily that Sunday written it off, and that week then I could have been like, nah, not happening. And for what it's worth, actually, I went out on the following Wednesday, and again, it was hot. We've had some brilliant weather recently, and I thought, right, this run, my first run back after that episode on Sunday, I thought, this is make or break for me, because if I go out and I'm still feeling the same, I have it in me. I could very easily just knock this whole running thing on the head, and that be that. But I went out. I knew I was slower. I felt I was slower, but I was okay with it because it was hot, and I actually embraced being a bit slower and feeling more comfortable. So I was able to, where I was still stop-start, I was able to go for longer periods and go for longer segments. But I knew that I was sacrificing a bit of a slower time. So I actually come away from Wednesday's run really, really refreshed mentally and happy. And then, Saturday was a tough one. We did our first ever chasing the finish park run. So we had Ben, who P1, by the way, for Ben. So congratulations on a sweltering hot day. 18:43 or 45?
43, I think. We'll go with 43.
Yeah. We had Ben Stevens. We had Tom Hodgson, who also listens. We had Farmy doing his first ever park run, and told me from the moment I finished to the moment we got into the car that he absolutely loved it, and he'll be back doing them again. So that's absolutely brilliant. That was everyone that we had. So hopefully in weeks to come, it'll be brilliant. Like, we could be knocking on the door of double figures, and that's what we want. So if you listen to this and you know us, or if you don't know us and you're in the area, we'll put a post out at some point saying where we'll be this week. I think it's going to be Stratford upon Avon, but we've not fully confirmed it yet. We're just waiting back on a few numbers. But it was important how I bounced back, and I'm just glad that I bounced back the way that I did, because it was so tough, and very. I mean, we've all experienced mental battles, haven't we? So
it's good that you have, though, Mike, that you didn't stop it, because you'd only have just beat yourself up even more then, wouldn't you? So absolutely, yeah, because done all this hard work for nothing. That would have been it. I would have thrown it all away off a whim on a bad Sunday. So it's one of them. Everyone has bad days, and I can understand. I'm not even speaking with. I've not done a 10K, whereas 5K, so I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I'm just gonna walk it. I just couldn't for myself not finish a 5K like some people. No, but I understand if it's gonna be days where you do pull up, or you feel like I don't know why I'm doing this, or why I've come out, or just can't be asked to do it at all, and it just knocks you for 6 then, doesn't it? And then it's like the following week comes, you're like, I need to get out, and you're just like, can't be asked.
Yeah.
Unless you're on 130 days straight club, then you.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a few people said to me, but at least you did finish it. And at the time, I probably didn't appreciate that. But looking back on it, as I said, I was yay close to genuinely just switching the watch off, going home, and I was like, that's me done. So yeah, I don't like to be proud of myself. It's something that I don't really come to terms with much, but I think that Sunday I was proud, and yeah, it's how I bounce back now from this mini holiday. So I was, for those that don't know, I was in Spain on Monday actually. My wife surprised me on Thursday saying that we were going to Mallorca on Monday and coming back on Wednesday. So we pretty much got there around 2:00 on Monday. So we had a good chunk of the day left. Had my whole 30th, because that was on Tuesday, had the whole day there. And then on Wednesday, we again pretty much had the whole day. I think we got in the taxi. We got to the airport at like 8:30 in the evening. The flight back, they messed us around like you wouldn't believe, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, if I was a little bit longer, I probably would have gone out on a run. I probably, though, like Jake, would have had to have left quite early, because you wake up abroad, and especially at this time of year in Spain, it's 7:30 and it's like 26, 27 degrees. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But with that said, I wish we were there a little bit longer, because I would have loved to have gone on a run, because when I get paid, I am booking the Alicante 10K, which is in February 2026. It's one for the bucket list. I've always wanted to do an event abroad. I think a half marathon would be a bit of a push. I think the weather would be quite something. But yeah, I'm eyeing that one up definitely. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. My first run back will be parkrun, because like I said, my shoulders are red raw at the moment. That probably, you can't really tell much there. And I got a new tattoo as well, so I don't know. I don't know if you can see much on the screen, but proud owner of a Duff beer now. So yeah, for those that know me, I like The Simpsons. I think it's fair to say. So yes, but I think that wraps in perfectly, actually, for one of our segments. Ben, I believe you have some running news for us from around the globe, maybe.
I do. I've got 3 stories again, keeping it light. Yeah. Once again, I don't know. I'll give the headlines and then we'll just get straight into them. So we've got a 17-year-old becomes the youngest person to run the length of the UK. We've got American star suffers humiliating X-rated wardrobe malfunction mid-race. And pranksters send Glasgow runners on a lengthy detour. Yeah. You always seem to hear one of them.
I've heard the American one as well.
One.
Is that in a 100 metre? Or something like that?
No, it was hurdles. Well, I'll get into them if you want.
Yes.
What was you going to say?
That last one, It wasn't a parkrun, was it?
No, it was a 10K.
Right, okay. Something has happened like this before.
Well,
I
yeah.
think it was a parkrun.
I don't know.
I'll let Jake choose where we go first.
Go on, Jake. What do you want? I know which one you want.
That one then. Go on, Mike. One.
Jake wanted to hear about the bloke whose cock fell out during a race.
Of course. Yeah. So basically, pranksters send Glasgow runners on a lengthy detour. Runners at a 10K trail race in Glasgow were sent in the wrong direction by a prankster who impersonated a marshal and buried signs marking the course. God. Acorn Trails said someone moved a route arrow and impersonated a race organizer to send about 30 competitors on a 2.5 kilometre detour.
Fall off. This is a long 10K.
Well, yeah. You would be fuming, wouldn't you? Affected runners were given a discount on entry to the next event. So that's not too bad. Depends what the discount was, of course.
Probably like 2.5.
Yeah. Michelle Sinsheimer, who is the co-owner of Acorn Trails, said that a previous race in the city's Queen's Park had also been targeted with signs redirected, but they had been spotted before the gun had been fired. I mean, from what I read, it seems to be everyone was sort of had a laugh and a bit of a joke about it at the end. Yeah, I get that, but at the time you'd be fuming. I know you would, Mike. Like, you know what I mean?
I turned up to Watford 10K in February, and the first announcement I heard was that they were adding an extra 500 metres onto the course because of a tree that was fallen, and I was not happy. So, let alone having to do an extra 2.5 kilometres. But I'm sure this prankster has struck before, and he happened at a park run. And you know what the park run police are like.
Well,
the proverbial hit the fan. Let's just say that. So, yeah. But, I mean, look, it's a genius idea from a prankster's point of view, but you'd be absolutely fuming. I couldn't imagine. I mean, surely, though, whenever I'm doing a race, I always look at the map. So I've sort of got an idea, right, well, we're going to go here, we're going to go there. Surely alarm bells must have rang. Look, I don't know, I wasn't there, but yeah, fuming.
Well, I'm used to going the wrong way anyway, so I think I would have much different for me. So I don't know. I think it. You know, maybe it's a bit. Thought it was a light-hearted joke. I don't know. It's one of them. It depends how everyone takes it, isn't it? I mean, they got a discount off the next race. You know, no harm done. So we'll go on to 17-year-old becomes the youngest person to run the length of the UK. 17-year-old Marcus Skeet, also known as the Hull Boy. I don't know if
I've seen him on social media.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, to be honest, but I know he's got quite a bit of buzz around him. So he's become the youngest person to run the length of the UK. The teenager who lives with his parents in Malton, North Yorkshire, openly talked about his struggles with mental health. At the age of 15, he said, "I attempted not to be here anymore. I was 22 stone, diabetic, struggling badly with depression, anxiety, and OCD. And as a young carer for his father, he felt unable to speak out about his own struggles. So he bottled up basically all of his own emotions, which I think plays in well to what we talk about. Obviously, mental health is, what more can you say about it? I know it's something that we always bring up, and we like to strenuate how important it is. Basically, Marcus started running a mile a day and took part in his first marathon in last September, alongside his friend Russ Cook, also known as the hardest geezer, who made headlines running the length of Africa. Inspired by that, he said his dream was to run the length of the UK and raise 20,000 for the mental health charity Mind. And after 58 days of running, he raised an incredible total of 130,000. Wow. So absolutely smashed it. I mean, I talked to you, Amnon, Mike, about I went to the National Running Show and listened to Russ Cook speak, and yeah, the guy is inspiring. I just loved listening to some of the speakers there. It really just does put you in a different. It gives you a different outlook on things and people as a whole. I know we said obviously we're going to try and get there together next year. I think it's amazing couple of days. I don't know what you think of that. I mean, I think that's incredible. 17 years old, the length of the UK in 58 days as well. I thought that was quite good. Yeah,
that is. I imagine it's from John O'Groats to Land's End, surely.
I assume so. That seems to be the
no better bloke to have by your side than Russ Cook. Though, it is Russ Cook, isn't it?
Russ Cook,
yeah. I mean, his whole length of Africa, I followed that with great intensity because that was incredible.
That journey was back as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, some of the stuff he had to come up against. I think one of the countries took his passport or something.
Yeah.
And he had to detour and.
Yeah, rolled up on by guns and stuff. And
I think there's a documentary on YouTube showing it all.
Definitely check it out. I mean, it's an incredible story. Absolutely.
to raise that much for mental health as well for this young lad,
Massive.
17,
Massive.
it's huge. So, yeah, fair play to him.
So the one that Jake's been waiting for, American star suffers humiliating X-ray wardrobe malfunction mid-race. American hurdler Chris Robinson had broadcasters scrambling to apologise as his penis slipped out of his shorts mid-race during the men's 400-metre hurdles at the Golden Spike meet in Czech city of Ostrava. As he rounded the final bend, the American clipped a hurdle, which desperately saw him try to avoid the new instalment of Free Willy with his left hand as he continued for the final sprint. He then had to remove his left hand. This is very detailed, I'll be honest. He had to remove his left hand to ensure he cleared the final hurdle, resulting in his genitals falling out once again. So he won. In many different ways. I'm sure images are found online somewhere if you want to have a look.
If anyone's got a link, send it over.
Send it over. We are so immature, man.
Well, it's just a good question, isn't it, really? I mean, if any of you boys had a wardrobe malfunction while you've been running, anyone's nan at park runs in a bit too much? Or
I've been quite lucky, actually. I mean, my blue Under Armour shorts are very tight.
They're in themselves, aren't they?
Mate, they are one bad sit down away from completely ripping. But no, I've touched wood. I've been very lucky. I've not had any wardrobe malfunction. To carry on as well, I mean...
Yeah, a bit of juggling towards the end. It's incredible.
So, did it hit the hurdle? Is that what?
Did what hit?
No.
The hurdle one. He hit the hurdle.
Yeah, he hit it with his.
No, I don't. Did I say that? I don't know. I don't know.
I got the impression he jumped over the hurdle and he clipped it with his.
Well, if it would have gone down, surely that's a penalty, isn't it? You get time penalty, don't you, if you knock a hurdle down?
I do. I don't know.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure there's something in it if you knock hurdles down.
Can we clarify that somewhere? I don't.
Probably not, actually. I probably just made that up.
Yeah.
But going forward, he just needs to type it under, doesn't he?
I don't remember saying that. Did I say that, Mike? I don't know.
Maybe it was a way I.
We're listening anyway, but yeah.
He's just focused on the cock and balls, aren't he?
I just.
Any
was it on TV?
Yeah. I seen the pictures. Nice. Well, I saw the blurred pictures. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if anyone has got a link, let me know.
That is crazy.
I don't know about that one, but I hope that satisfied you, Jake.
When you said US star, I was expecting you to like some celebrity. I thought John Travolta had his willy fall out running around the park or something like that. I wasn't expecting it to be like an athlete.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what happens on the track. You know, can happen anywhere. So look out at your local park run.
Yeah. And if you've had any unfortunate experiences, get in touch. Thank you for the segment there, Ben. That was it
is a thing though. It worries me. I mean, I don't know if I've told you before, Mike. You know, some park runs I don't wear pants.
Well, I'm no stranger to how short your shorts are, mate, and you're a braver man than I am.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I don't know, the shorts I've got, they've got the inner lining, which obviously
like swimming trunks.
But obviously it sits more like a brief? Is it a brief?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it's extremely uncomfortable with boxers or anything. So you kind of have to, I don't know about that.
You've had a wardrobe malfunction, getting a top with holes in.
That is true.
Yeah.
I wore it Saturday.
He wore it Saturday.
My top might be quicker.
He wore it Saturday, and the first thing Farmy said to him was, "Did you cut them holes in your top?" And I thought, I wish Jake was here because Jake rips a piss out of him every time.
I did tell him that I'd left it in the wardrobe and the moths had got it, and he did believe it. So,
Well, that does not surprise me.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But yeah, so there's your news for this week. Yeah, I hope you are satisfied. And yeah, I mean, what more can I say?
Well, that leads us on quite nicely, actually, because as always, I have asked our fabulous listeners to send in their questions. Felt a little bit bad, actually, because it's a running podcast and running, fitness, athletics, and I thought, I know what will be a good picture to ask a question to, a pint of San Miguel. So maybe didn't read the room quite on that one. So apologies if anyone is trying to get into running and you've got me posting pictures of beer. But we had 3 questions. The first question, and I think this is probably the most appropriate to start on. I think this might be a favourite of Jake's after what he's just learned. But Blue has basically asked, our friend Blue, Jake's cousin, if you do or did watch athletic running events, what would you say your favourite is?
4 metre 100.
I don't know if your answer maybe being swayed by what you've just learned. I can't guarantee that happens every time, but do you have a favourite running event?
Me?
Yeah,
Mate, running.
No.
I think the relay's class, but
Relay is good.
I just wouldn't want to be in that situation because I'll definitely drop that button.
See,
be one of them.
when I was at school, dropping the bat meant something else. But,
yeah.
About you too?
I mean, I do. I watch trails and ultras. I watch the live stream of the Moab 240, which is a 240-mile race.
What? Triathlon, though, yeah?
No, just like an ultra trail.
Just
Like what I'm doing, but 240 miles.
That's right.
Yeah, I watched that. But there was another one as well, Arizona. This was the day we had the Lincoln 10K. Because obviously we come down to stay, didn't we? And it was the start of the Arizona 300 miler. Which
What is wrong with people?
Obviously it was like 3 or 4 days of running for them. So yeah,
that must be.
I honestly think that would take me about 2 months. And the rest
that must be like, I know they're held in big countries, but genuinely from one end of a country to another.
No, not even.
Not in Canada or America, for example. But if I was to run 300 miles from Lincoln, I'm gonna make myself look a right idiot here now. But 100 miles. No, it'd be like going down to Watford and running back. Well, actually, it's probably more than that.
Yeah, I was going to say a bit more than that.
Running to like Brighton and back or something. I don't know. It would be a long way, basically. That is crazy. I did not.
It just shows the scale of it. I mean, that one was Arizona 300 miler. That was just through Arizona, and obviously not even all of it. Do you know what I mean? That's just one state.
Right.
And then recently, because obviously I just watched the live streams, have them on through the night and stuff. I think Cocodona was the most recent one I just watched. I think Dan Green won that. So I don't know. Yeah, so that's me. I say I'm into my trials and ultra. I just find them interesting because it's all like I don't know. It's anyone can take over anyone at any point. You know, while someone's sleeping, getting like half an hour sleeping, someone can go past, and yeah, it's very tactical and how they do it. So I just find it really interesting. So yeah,
there we go.
It would be running to Exeter and then running back. That's 177 miles.
Running to Exeter is bad enough.
From Solihull to Exeter is 155 miles, so there and back. It approximately walking would take me 3 days. So I'm going to say 5 days because that's just a joke.
That is mad. Wow.
You might be seeing me involved in one. You never know.
If you see him on the M40, mind your own business.
I'm hoping to see him in the hurdles.
With myself, I don't know. I quite like the relays. Run Through, by the way, have recently started doing a few relay races. I don't know if you've seen that, Ben.
No.
But yeah, they I think they did their first ever relay race the other day in London somewhere. It's always London that get these big events, isn't it? But yeah, I think for me though, I'm going to have to be boring here and say the 100 metre because it's just pure sprinting. Like, I don't know why, but I'd love to be a quick sprinter. Like, that just seems very, very talented. Obviously, you've got to be ridiculously talented and have the endurance to run these bloody 300 milers that you were just on about. But just to be a really quick 100 metre sprinter, I'd choose that over being able to run 300 miles any day of the week for me personally.
You're going to match up with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, well, Rod Stewart, if you're listening after the last one, yeah, hit us up and we'll do it. And then you can get your other man involved. I can't remember his name. The one that broke the record.
No. I can't remember his name.
Usain Bolt, you can stay away, mate. The record's yours, all right? Ben, this one might be more for you, actually. Although I think, Jake, you have suffered with it as well. Ben Ayton has asked, have any of you suffered with runner's knee before? And if so, do you have any advice? Now, Ben, I know you have. I don't know, Jake, if you have. But, Ben?
I think when I did start the streak, I was suffering bad. Obviously, it's the overuse and sudden increase of activity. I think that's what I was really struggling. Obviously, I was struggling with shin splints, but yeah, definitely. I had knee pain. I mean, I've had knee pain this week. Do you know what I mean? But I think very, very early on, it was just the classic. Your RICE, your rest, ice compression. What's the other one? Elevation. Just that. I mean, I said to you, Mike, didn't I? I was taking ice baths. I think that helped. I've taken a couple this week, and it's definitely helped. I've bought some ice packs that you can strap around your legs. It's just I think ice is a massive one. And resting. I think the one that I will say that nobody wants to hear would be reducing your running. Obviously, I say it to Jake all the time. He doesn't listen to me. But almost like just not stop completely, but start again. Slow it down, build back up. I think strength exercises are an important one. I know I had to build some muscle in my glutes. That helped me from getting because I was struggling with my IT band, and that helped. And just regular like warm ups, cool downs. It's standard stuff really. But it's something that we all kind of take for granted and seem to look over. And it's very underrated stuff. I'm guilty of it myself, But you'll see me at parkrun. I will go and do a lap before and warm up, loosen the legs up, and it does help. You will.
No, we take the mick, to be fair, but I'm terrible at warming up. My warm up is getting out of the car, walking to pay for the car park, and then putting my keys back. So. Yeah, no, fair play. So there you go, Ben. Hopefully that answers your question. Ben also asks, Jake, we'll come to you on this one. How do you prep for a run? So you know that you're going for a run. Talk us through what you do before you start.
If it's a run at home, like midweek, kind of just if I'm either working from home or coming in from work, I kind of just get in a mindset from early on. In the morning, I'm going out. So I make sure my clothes that I'm putting on are out. So once I get back, change and straight out the door. If I'm working from home, it's more like I'm up and ready. I'll probably just put the stuff on. So then whenever I get either on lunch or if it's I log on a bit earlier and I get a quiet, like half an hour, then I'll get myself out. Parkrun, it's more like I know I'm meeting all you lot, so I'm automatically going either way. Even if I'm in a state where I've done no runs for like, say, a week or 2 weeks and I don't feel great, I still want to get out there because it's a chance to see you lot. So, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that one's a key one. I think I spoke about that the other week. 100% for me, it's making sure that I've got my clothes laid out ready and I'm getting in from work, and no matter how I'm feeling, I'm getting changed into them clothes, because there is no point getting out your work clothes, getting in your running clothes, so then get out your running clothes and into chill clothes. Like once you're in your running clothes, you might as well go get it done, say that it's done, and then chill for the evening. The longer you put it off, the longer your evening's going to be, and the more you've got to think, right, I've still got to go out, still got to go out, still got to go out. Maybe with the weather the way that it is at the moment, it might be wise to wait a little bit later so that it cools down. But definitely get your stuff ready and prepped so that you can't sort yourself out of it. So thank you for your questions. Again, if you want to get in touch, you can drop us an email at chasingthefinish@gmail.com. We are also on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So feel free to drop us a message there. And every week before we record, we put a question thing out, so you can drop your questions in on that one. Ben, bit of a quick turnaround. It's not quite back to back. You gave me a bit of a telling off last week for doing it back to back. Hopefully you're ready. Your Strava segment game.
Yes. Are you two ready?
I am ready. As the current leaderboard champion, I am ready.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. I'm already starting to struggle with it. I'm having to go to the depths of the internet to find the depths of Strava, should I say, to find some of these routes. So, admittedly, I have had to delve also into the cycling world.
Okay.
Because there's just not enough running ones. So there's a bit of a mix. Obviously, I've got 3 again. Just to clarify as well, because I know you asked Mike what happens if you both obviously guess the same one and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go with it. You both get a point.
Okay.
Right, if you're both happy to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Okay. So number 1. I know you're ready for this, Jake.
I'm buzzing.
Which one is the fake one? A. Wave to Daddy. B. Attack of the Baldies. Or C. This climb gave me IBS. Right. I can't remember who I started with last time. I think we'll go Mike this time. I'll read them again. Wave to Daddy, Attack of the Baldies, and This Climb gave me IBS.
I, again, with my thinking hat on, being strategic, it might defeat the element of the game a little bit, but I think it is B, Attack of the Baldies.
Do you think that's the fake one?
I think that's the fake one.
Okay, Jake, over to you.
I'm going to go A, Wave to Daddy.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, you're both wrong.
Yeah.
What?
This climb gave me IBS. I came up with that myself.
I feel like that was the hill in Pefkos because that nearly put me through my rings. It sent me under.
Basically, yeah, Wave to Daddy. I put this one in. It's in Boston, Suffolk County, and it's next to a correctional facility, which humorously is why it's given the name Wave to Daddy. Attack of the Baldies is in Chiltern Hills.
Okay.
So yeah, and obviously I came up with the fake one, which this climb gave me IBS.
See, I would have thought Wave to Daddy would have been. He's on a lap. He does it quite regularly. He's turned up, and it's at a park. His kids there, and it's like, oh, Daddy's coming round again. Wave to him.
Normal park, isn't it? When Ben's running, we're all just waving at him.
Yeah. No, he's in prison, Mike. 2. So 0-0. We've got Linda's back door.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. B, tie bride. Okay.
Yeah.
And C, surprise, that's not sweat.
Oh Christ. Get a PG warning on some of these.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Linda's back door, tie bride, and surprise, that's not sweat. So Jake, what do you think is the fake one?
I'm gonna go B.
Tie bride. Okay, Michael.
I do wonder what Linda's back door looks like. I think it's. I don't know. I want to go C, but would it be C 2 times it? Yeah, do you know what? Sorry, let's go C.
Okay, the fake one is surprise. That's not sweat. Well done, Michael.
This game's shite, this game is.
Yeah,
That one's for you, Linda. Come on.
Yeah, once again, I came up with that myself. Yeah, so, okay, so 3. So, Jake, come on, man. Come on. Can't let him, you can't let him, you know, you just can't. You can't let him. Because he's going to be unbearable.
You can send me that money later, Mike.
Yeah, you know he's going to be unbearable. Okay, 3. Strap yourself in, Mike.
Oh. Is that one of them?
No, you got it. Okay, A, feed the pony. B, body bag drop-off zone. Or C, definitely not a shortcut through a school.
What was the last one you cut out?
Okay, C, definitely not a shortcut through a school.
Oh my lord.
I'm a big fan. I think that last one is true. And I think he does run through a school because it's shorter. And that's his funny little way of saying it. It's on the line here for me now.
Right, go on, Jake. We'll go to you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have to go through them again.
You want me to go through them again?
Yes, please.
Sorry. Feed the pony.
Okay.
Body bag drop-off zone. And definitely not a shortcut through a school.
There's no way in hell you've gone 3 C's. There's just no... Wait, no, the first one wasn't C, was it?
Yeah, it was.
It's just... I'm in my own head now. I'm going to go C.
Okay. Okay, Michael.
I'm trying to go now. I'm going now. Yeah, I'm going now.
Hey, can you remind you, please?
Sorry.
Feed the pony. You think feed the pony's fake?
Oh.
Okay, go on then, Michael.
I think it's B.
If it's C now, my head's going to fall off.
Body bag.
Hold on to your head, Jake. Because C is the fake one.
Oh my god. He's done us both.
I went harder this week. You moaned last week. It was a bit too easy. A bit too predictable.
I don't want to play again, man.
I've tried
Next
to
week, get a guest on Naked Play. I don't want to play
so, congratulations, Michael. You are 2-0 up. Jake, commiserations. There's always next week. I hope you enjoyed that one. Yeah, I thought it was a bit tricky.
It's always good fun, ain't it?
It is.
I suppose if you get like short of segments, you could do like names of courses, because I'm sure there's some outrageous ones knocking about all over the world.
Well, maybe you can help me with that one.
No, leave that with me.
We've heard some of the segments already, only 2 weeks in. So yeah, I'd be intrigued to hear some of the course names, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that might be just a couple of other bits, and then we'll round it up, unless anyone else has got anything for the floor. But I think really just to end on a little bit of news, I was going to mention in terms of how maybe running's taken over my life a little bit more than usual recently, because as I said earlier, it was my birthday on Tuesday, and I got quite a few running gifts. So the usual Carrymore running shirts. Under Armour socks, like running socks. Got a £100 gift voucher as well for Adidas, which I'll definitely be using on running equipment 100%. So if anyone can recommend any Adidas gear for running, whether it's shorts, tops, even shoes, hit me up, let me know.
I can recommend a cracking top for you.
If it's a claret and blue one, then you can go swivel, my friend. Also, as well, I wanted to mention, so I brought it with me, a bit of a show and tell here. The mother-in-law got me a running top. Now, some people might watch this and think, why is Mike raving about some running top? I mentioned the other week about how parkrun T-shirts are a certain fabric, and I've not worn this yet, but I can already tell this. I highly recommend this because of the material. So it's 100% polyester, and it's from a company I've never heard before. It's made in China, and it's Magco Masen. So if anyone is after some running gear, I know we got asked. I know it looks, yeah. It looks very, very good. And I know we had a few questions the other week about running gear and what people recommend. This is the type of material you want to run in because it's breathable and it's light and it's not heavy. That is one thing that people get wrong sometimes, is what you're running makes a big difference to how you perform out there 100%. So yeah, just wanted to give a big shout out for those Chinese manufacturers, and hopefully the kids can get a bit of a pay rise now. Let's end the podcast before the podcast gets ended on me. Listen, we're not in the charts for China, so we're going to be okay.
And we never will be.
Well, I often check the charts. Actually, we peaked at 23 in the UK charts the first week, and to be that high again would be oh so glorious. But yeah, just a bit of podcast news to end on. We are now going to be, I think it's going to be sort of made official as of next week, because it's towards the end of the week now, so they'll just send everything through next week. It's not going to make a great deal of difference for you guys that are watching or listening, but I'm pleased to announce that we're now going to be we're in partnership with the Sports Social Podcast Network. So they're actually the Europe's largest podcast network, and they host various other running podcasts. They've recently took a few on. They've got David Seaman's podcast. They host that one. They look after that one. So we're in good company. A lot of other big names as well. They often do sort of, Ben was on about earlier, they do the National Running Show, those sort of events they do for podcasts. So our logo will be there. We will be represented by the Sports Social Podcast Network. So that's brilliant. And like I say, more details about where you can find us on there, what you can do, etc., will be posted as of next week when we get them. So that's all good in the hood. But other than that, gentlemen, is there any other business to attend to before we bid goodbye to our...
Well, there is one last thing. Obviously, we are building our CTF running playlist. Me and Jake have both chosen a song. Michael, it's now your turn. What song are you going with this week?
Yes, I completely forgot about that. So thank you very much, because I would have just completely forgot. So my one is
live.
You're
finding one live. That's what you do.
I am. Yes. No, my one is "All of the Lights" by Kanye West.
Okay. Good choice.
So if you want to listen to said podcast, Spotify playlist, I'll pop a link out on socials anyway. 3 songs on there at the moment, so we are trying to build it. Hopefully as well, we're going to get a guest on next week. I need to have a chat with the lads about when we're going to record, see if said guest is available, and hopefully as well, again, you might be local, you might not, we are hoping to be at Stratford-upon-Avon Park Run this Saturday. So if you know us, or if you don't and you'd like to come along, we've got people that represent all abilities, whether you want to chug along at the back with me, whether you want to be a little bit further ahead, whether you want to be in the middle of the pack, or whether you want to walk, hit us up, drop us a message on any of the social media platforms, and we'll be sure to meet up with you beforehand. So that will be the second CTF running group, park run group anyway. So, yeah. But for this week, thank you very much for listening. Keep chasing that finish and keep chugging along, and we'll see you on the next one. Till next time. Bye-bye.
See you later.